Welcome to our webinar, Introducing M3 Agile, quick responses to your most urgent questions. I'm your host, Monica Gilson, the Marketing and Events Manager for M3 Global Research. We truly appreciate you joining our webinar today that is a little off course from our core programming focus on thought leadership. However, we are very excited to have the chance to educate as much of our audience as possible on our M3 product offering. If anyone is interested in our other webinars on Agile that discuss the history, application, and case studies, we encourage you to check out the recordings of our September and October webinars on our website. I am joined today by Emily Zinni and Tom Pugh. Emily joined us last year bringing a sophisticated understanding of business, market research, and technology products. Throughout her career in market research, she has managed data design, deliverables, and strategic business solutions. As both a traditional researcher and operations leader, Emily aims to provide superior client service, digital leadership, and sensitivity to clients' business objectives and goals. Tom has been with M3 Global Research since 2017 and specializes in real-world data and innovation in online tracking. He joined the TNS Custom Market Research Graduate Program, focusing on large, quantitative, multinational trackers for large technology and consumer brands, before joining Precision IR as a sales director for continuous investor relation data feeds in 2007. He has worked in international fieldwork since 2010, holding senior sales roles at several major organizations while also fostering his entrepreneurship in setting up and subsequently selling an online media business. We will be taking questions at the end. You can submit them anytime during the webinar by using the Q&A function. If you have any technical difficulties, please use the chat functions. Both of these options are available on the webinar console. Emily and Tom, take it away.
Thank you, Monica. Good morning or good afternoon to everyone on the webinar, depending on where you are on the globe. Wishing you all a very belated Happy New Year. It seems particularly late in the year to be saying this, but it's our first webinar of 2020. I've not spoken to many people this year, so it still feels somewhat appropriate. It's always a real genuine privilege to speak to so many of our clients on one of these webinars. To echo Monica, today represents a departure from the norm for us. Usually we focus on introducing and discussing some thought leadership, but today we will be focusing on our new product, M3 Agile. We've had so much interest in M3 Agile recently, a webinar just felt like the most efficient and effective method to introduce the product to the industry. So we sincerely hope that you enjoy the next 20 minutes or so. The fantastic news for all of you today is you only have to listen to me for a few minutes. What a bonus. My brilliant colleague Emily will be presenting the majority of this session, as M3 Agile really is her brainchild. If we look at the agenda for today and getting started, we're going to really cover three core areas. I'm going to start off by covering the application of M3 Agile with some real-life examples from the recent past. I'll then hand over to Emily, who will focus on the product itself, including the methodologies, markets, and the respondent types available to you. And finally, Emily will focus on the outputs. How are the insights that are generated delivered back to you so you can immediately start your analysis? So let's get started on the applications then. We really hope you find this section useful. We wanted to not only showcase the product today, but also give you some ideas as to what can be done with M3 Agile and give you an idea of what problems it can be used to solve very quickly. So I'm going to run through four very brief examples. It's important to note this is clearly not an exhaustive list of all the applications of the technology. So example one, you're pitching for a new project. It's a new client for you, and winning the study will absolutely make your 2020. But you're up against two other fantastic agencies, so you really need your proposal to stand out and to pop. M3 Agile can be used here to generate both quantitative and qualitative insights quickly, so that your initial hypotheses and suggested methodology can be supported by primary data, and your proposal can be a winner. Example two, everyone on this webinar will understand that we work in a niche. So even when we're working with primary care physicians, we know they're actually a really small subsection of society. So the introduction of a new screener question that may bring your incidence rate down by 10 percentage points could be the difference between the 75 respondents you need for your statistical analysis or delivering a far lower sample size. M3 Agile can be used here to mitigate this risk and to inform the screener question you are asking, so you understand the likely incidence rate and the likely feasibility in advance of the soft launch and well in advance of the full launch. For the third option, let's imagine you've been running some facility days and there's a finding from one doctor in one market that you really weren't expecting. And you need to understand very quickly if what this HCP states is genuinely interesting, if it needs addressing in your presentation, or is it actually a red herring, and this respondent's view is an outlier and isn't that representative at all of the prescribing in the market. M3 Agile provides the perfect solution here to quickly quantify your qualitative findings and reliably inform you as to whether you're onto something interesting or not. And finally, in our fourth example, you've been provided with 12 individual concepts to test, but you know for a fact that the research budget you have realistically will only stretch to a thorough testing of 5. M3 Agile provides the perfect quick-turn solution to narrow your concepts down from 12 to 5 based on fast, reliable primary insights. As I say, this is by no means an exhaustive list. There are literally hundreds of applications for M3 Agile, but I hope if nothing else, this has got everyone thinking of various ways that an Agile solution can be successfully used in our industry. So let's move on to introduce the product itself. As said at the top of the call, we're particularly excited to be bringing M3 Agile to you today. It's a product that's been a long time in the making, and I'm absolutely delighted to introduce you to my colleague Emily now, who is going to explain to you in detail all of the options available to you. So over to you, Emily.
Thank you, Tom. It's great to be here today to introduce M3 Agile. As Tom mentioned, we reached out to our clients to hear what they needed for quick data delivery. What we heard is there is a need for both quantitative and qualitative quick insights from physicians and patients alike. So we built 3 offerings to serve this need: quantitative physicians, quantitative patients, and qualitative physicians. For quantitative physicians, you can set up a 10-question survey to obtain responses from physicians around the globe, typically within 48 hours. Similarly, for quantitative patients, we can set up a 10-question survey and obtain data back in 48 hours from US patients. 60 different condition areas can easily be targeted. Qualitative physicians is a very exciting solution for us, which allows for quick scheduling of US and EU5 verified physicians within 48 hours for a 20-minute tele-depth interview, also known as a TDI. M3 secures and schedules the verified physicians, and our clients provide the moderator. Our M3 Agile solution offers nearly 30 medical specialties ranging from allergy to urology. Most specialties are available for both quantitative and qualitative physicians, but a few are limited to only quantitative at this time. If you aren't seeing a specialty of interest, please reach out to your M3 account manager for more information. For patient, M3 Agile currently offers targeting for 60 patient conditions in the United States. This is quick access to condition areas we are frequently asked about, from acne to cancer to diabetes. Again, if you aren't seeing a condition area of interest, please reach out to your account manager. M3 Agile is a global solution for both quant and qual. In the United States, EU5, that's France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and the United Kingdom. For quantitative physicians, Agile is also available in Austria, Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, and Japan. M3 Agile is different than our other M3 traditional offerings. We designed it with speed in mind. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3, and 4. I will take you through each step now. Step 1, initiate your project using M3's interactive platform. Determine your project feasibility by country and medical specialty or condition area. Choose the number of responses you need. Select up to a maximum of 10 survey questions and submit your question text. Or if qual, select a 20-minute tele-depth interview package and your ideal dates and times for interviewing, then hit submit. Step 2, confirm your project. After submission, you will receive a notification from M3 that confirms your Project Manager. Unlike other quick turn offers on the market, M3 ensures that you have a point healthcare MR expert to guide your project all the way to completion. Review your contract and sign off via electric signature. Step 3. Once you have signed off, M3 Agile will launch your project. For Quant, you will gain access to live reporting. And for Qual, while respondents are screened and scheduled, you will receive daily recruitment grids from the project manager. Step 4. Typically in around 48 hours, your raw data will be completed and ready for you to tabulate, analyze, and chart. For qualitative, in 48 hours, you can begin moderating as your schedule allows. M3 Agile is fast, but it's also so much more. We offer a flexible design. Our solution is not based on templatized questionnaires, but allows for customized questions and discussion guides. We offer industry-leading compliance. The solution was developed with our industry-leading ISO standards, aligned with AFREMRA, Intellis, and Insights Association. We are healthcare experts in market research. Agile was built on our traditional healthcare panel, which consists of more than 4 million respondents in 248 markets across 70 countries worldwide. We truly have global market reach, and more countries will be coming to Agile in the future. Last but not least, we offer impressive data visuals, which allow for charting and advanced data tabulation. Earlier in the presentation, Tom mentioned several uses for Agile, including proposal prep as well as vetting several concepts. For me, there are several additional applications for M3 Agile that come top of mind, and I know you can probably think of a couple new ways as well. In summary, M3 Agile is a solution that provides quick answers to your most urgent questions. Select quantitative and/or qualitative, physicians and/or patients, maybe a combination of these three. More importantly, get your answers fast. Reach out to your M3 account manager to get a demo scheduled today. Thank you. Tom, anything else to add?
Thank you, Emily. Thank you to everyone on the webinar today. As Emily says, it's great to be bringing this product to market. You know, it's not just quant, it's qual as well. It's not just HCPs, it's patients as well. And it's not just the EU5 and the US, it's Central Europe, it's the Nordics, and it's Asia. And this is just a start, there'll be plenty more to come. To echo what Emily just said, you know, we've kept today deliberately quite short and punchy because we know everyone is very busy in the industry working, but if you have any questions that you're not comfortable asking now, or you want to learn more from your M3 account manager, or reach out to Emily and myself, we'd be only too delighted to take time out to spend more time going into the detail and showing you a live demo. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you all as ever. At this stage, it'd be great to take some questions. So Monica, back to you.
Thank you both so much. If you have any questions, we welcome you to submit them now using the Q&A function. We do ask that you submit your name with your question in the case that we cannot answer all of them in session and we're able to follow up. While we're waiting for some questions to come in, I wanted to let you know that you'll be directed to a 7-question survey following the webinar, where we would greatly appreciate your feedback on today's session, as well as any future topics you're interested in. Okay, very exciting. We're happy to get a few questions in. So our first question is, can I ask different questions depending on the market?
Yes, you can add market-specific questions. However, each distinct question does count towards the upper limit allowed. So if you are interested in 2 markets, the US and the UK, you can ask 5 questions in the US and 5 questions in the UK. That would equal the total of 10 total questions.
Awesome. Our next question. So how many responses will I be able to get?
So that's a really great point. All M3 Agile commitments are based on the number of responses rather than the number of completes in traditional research. When you set up your project, M3 Agile outlines the maximum commitment for each specialty and market. Irrespectively of whether the respondent fully completes that or not, each entry into the platform is considered a response. Again, to clarify, it's a response-driven product, very similar to others on the market right now.
Great. Our next question, would we be able to push to a 30-minute QULA?
So a 30-minute qual. At this point, we are offering a 20-minute TDI. In the future, we will be looking to expand our offerings within qual, so stay tuned.
Is pricing standard or custom per project?
So our pricing is a standard pricing. It is something you would want to direct any questions to your account manager specifically regarding pricing if there is something that is unique to what you are looking for. But if you are addressing a 10-minute survey in the US and you have a certain specialty, then you would enter that into the platform, and yes, your cost would be determined for that particular project.
Are the 10 questions in addition to the screening questions?
Right now, our screening questions are regarding specialty and country, and the 10 questions are actually separate from those 2 targeting questions. So you are correct. You can have up to 10 questions.
Is the platform live now?
Yes, it is. So if you would like more information, please reach out to your M3 account manager to get set up.
As a user, can I launch a project on my own, or does everything go through a project manager first?
Everything at M3 Agile goes through a project manager at this time. Again, we differ from other services in the marketplace. We are healthcare experts, and your project manager will guide your project to completion.
If response-driven pricing, what happens on the quant side if given a respondent is straight-lining or is clearly not qualified to take the survey? It's a 2-part question, so we'll start with the first part.
Okay, Monica, could you repeat that question?
Oh, sorry. What happens on the quant side if given respondent is straight-lining or is clearly not qualified to take the survey?
That is a great question, and regarding how we are vetting our physicians, those that are included in our survey are verified physicians. However, if we are looking at logic and additional elements to the survey questionnaire, that is something that we will be ensuring that you have solid responses to your questions. If we are talking about additional security features, that is something that we are looking into building in the future, and is something that I hear the need. Ensuring that we have applicable data that is usable is a concern for all of us in the industry. So hopefully that answers your question. If not, we can circle back.
Thank you. And the second part of that question is, on the qual side, what is considered a response? Is that a response to a screener?
That is a great point. So our responses are specific answers to an individual question. So we are targeting specialty and targeting country. Those are not considered 2 of the questions asked. A response to your first question, let's say you are setting up 2 questions. If the individual answers that first question but drops off by the second question, we are still deeming their answer to the first question a response.
Great. A lot of great questions here. We appreciate everyone's engagement. Can you do qualitative short interviews in Nordic countries?
At this time, no. The qualitative is offered in the US and the EU5. That is something we will be looking to expand in the future.
And a more specific question here, do you have pathologists available on the platform?
That's a great question to reach out to your account manager for the demo. As you go through by country, you can select the specialties that are available.
And we are seeing a bunch of questions coming in here on pricing, and we just want to let you know, again, that's a great opportunity to connect with your account representative on those questions, since everyone's need is quite specific to their projects. How do you inform a qualitative finding using a quantitative approach? Is there an example as to how this would be accomplished?
That's a great question. Tom, do you want to take this question?
Yeah, I mean, I think in that scenario, we're, as a fieldwork agency, I'm not so much a market research. It's just not been a problem I've come up against too many times in my career. But if you're having an IDI facility and the respondent you're talking to is talking about, a patient load they might have, or a prescribing habit they might have, which far outstrips what you're suggesting. Following up then with a small quant survey out to that sample, asking a higher number of respondents some numerical questions can lead you to believe if this person is way above and beyond and as an outlier, or if actually there's a finding in there somewhere. So hopefully that makes sense.
Thanks, Tom. Can the platform handle skip pattern questioning?
Yes. Our product is based on custom programming. It is not a templatized solution. That said, if there is extensive skip patterns, that would add to the time, and it likely would take longer than 48 hours. But basic skip patterns and key questionnaire logic is allowed.
Can you elaborate a bit more on what the data visualization tools look like?
That's a great question, and something that your account manager can walk through with you on the data visualization. I will say, as a former traditional market researcher, it allows for pretty elaborate data tabulation, so crosstab, stat testing, all the standards. It also allows for charting, so bar charting, line graphing, and it can be exported into Excel or even into PowerPoint. It is something that you would quickly be able to look at your raw data, build out the table and the chart that you would like to populate, and then let's say in 12 hours after you build that, you are deeming your market to be closed. You could run the raw finished data and quickly analyze and write to the report.
Thanks, Emily. Can I ask follow-up questions to a respondent in qual? And if I find that the response is interesting or open-ended?
Tom, do you want to go ahead and take that question?
Yeah, Monica, can you just repeat it again? Sorry.
Absolutely. Can I ask follow-up questions to a respondent in qual if I find their response is interesting or open-ended?
Sure, yeah. So for qual, I mean, your qual is going to be a 20-minute teledeck that you're moderating. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're on the call with them, you can ask them any follow-up questions you like that are appropriate from a market research point of view. And again, if you come off a call and you identify respondents from an agile qual that you'd like to then go into a full-blown research project, we can always set it up that way as long as we ask for the right permissions at the start. So yeah, I don't see any, unless I'm misunderstanding the question, I don't see any challenges there.
Just to follow up, if that was your question and Tom didn't answer, that wasn't the answer you're looking for, please feel free to submit to us at marketing@usa.m3.com, and we're happy to help. And we also have contact information for Emily and Tom as well, if you want to connect with them directly, as they're happy to continue talking about M3 Agile. So we'll continue with a few more questions. Can the quant 10 questions then go into the 20-minute qual TDI?
So that's a great use of M3 Agile. Starting with the quant, asking 10 questions. That would be 48 hours to answer and get the responses for those questions. And then we would ask for another 48 hours to schedule the 20-minute qual TDI. From my experience, you may want to look at the quantitative results to understand if that's the direction you want to go before diving deeper into your discussion and moderating.
Speaking of moderating, that's a great question. Do you provide qual moderation if I don't want to or can't moderate my own interviews?
Yes, we can provide moderators. That is something you would want to reach out to your account manager to figure out more about the availability and of our moderators. That goes for all markets.
So someone is asking, do they feel confident that they're correct that they would want to have the 10 questions final and ready to go at the point of initiating a quant project since it would launch shortly thereafter?
That is exactly right. You will want to understand the questions that you are being asked to be able to quickly get your responses back. However, if there is some iteration that needs to happen, just keep in mind that will lengthen the duration of the project. So it is best to, if you're wanting to get started, to have your questionnaire ready to go.
Great. Specific to qual, is there a sample max? Is it 5, 10?
Yes, so our packages are 3 to 5 TDIs. It does vary by market, so you will want to reach out to your account manager to determine specifically what you are looking at. In the US, it is 5 TDIs, and in some of the EU5 markets, it is 3 at this point.
Does M3 provide the conferencing bridge for the qual interviews? And if so, can the TDIs be recorded?
At this point, there are options for where the TDIs can be held and recorded. So you will want to ask and work with your account manager. At this point, it can either be a client held or it can be held by M3. We do offer options.
Great. I think we had a previous question about a participant not being fit for the study. So someone wanted to revisit that question. Does that person automatically, if they're not a fit, get scrubbed out and do not count to a quota, or are they blacklisted from future participation survey?
So ensuring high quality data is very important to us. As it stands right now, we would still include their responses as part of the survey. That said, the next step of how that respondent is included in future surveys is handled by our wonderful panel team. And so just as with all of our surveys, we ensure high quality and have built M3 Agile around that process.
Awesome. So I think we'll end it there. That was a really great, engaging Q&A session. We thank you all for your participation, and we will follow up if you're in our system and we have a question from you that we have not answered, or we'll just let your account rep know so that they can follow up with you to continue the discussion. And we greatly appreciate your time today. If you have any additional questions, as I said, please reach out to us at marketing@usa.m3.com. You can expect to receive an email with the recording of this webinar later this week. And as I mentioned before, you're more than welcome to reach out to Emily or Tom as well to continue the conversation. So I'd like to thank you on behalf of M3 for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing from you. Enjoy the rest of your day.